Everyone, and welcome to today's video. This is a B1 level grammar lesson. We're continuing to talk about the third conditional, and this is using the third conditional to talk about unfortunate events. So choose a third conditional that matches the situation best. Oscar went to the National Art Gallery yesterday. He wanted to take photos. Unfortunately, he forgot to take his camera. He says to his friend, "If I hadn't taken my camera, I wouldn't have taken any photos. If I had taken my camera, I wouldn't have taken any photos. If I had taken my camera, I would have taken some photos. And if I hadn't taken my camera, I would have taken some photos." So the one that best describes the situation is C. If I had taken my camera, I would have taken some photos. Right, we have another one. Emma bought a new dress. Last night she wore it to a party, and this morning she washed it. Unfortunately, the dress is ruined. The instructions said dry clean only. If Emma had read the instructions, she would have washed the dress. If Emma hadn't read the instructions, she wouldn't have washed the dress. If Emma hadn't read the instructions, she would have washed the dress. And if Emma had read the instructions, she wouldn't have washed the dress. So the correct answer would be D. Yesterday it rained heavily. Tom forgot his umbrella at home. On his way home from school, he got completely wet. When he arrived home, he felt cold and sick. His mom made him hot tea. The next morning, he felt much better. If Tom had brought his umbrella, he would have gotten wet. If Tom hadn't brought his umbrella, he wouldn't have gotten wet. If Tom hadn't brought his umbrella, he would have gotten wet. And if Tom had brought his umbrella, he wouldn't have gotten wet. So the correct answer would be D. And we also can use might have and could have. If I had known your number, I would have texted you. If I had known your number, I might have texted you. And if I had known your number, I could have texted you. So think about those and think about what you think the difference in meaning is between those three sentences. So would have texted you suggests certainty, like it's 100% sure. Might have texted you, maybe she would have texted or maybe she wouldn't have. And here it's saying she would have had the ability to text or call. You can use might have plus the third form of the verb or could have plus the third form of the verb in the result clause. If it hadn't rained yesterday, we might have gone to the beach. It was possible. If it hadn't rained yesterday, we could have gone to the beach. We had the ability to do this. And if it hadn't rained yesterday, we would have gone to the beach. This was the most likely result. All right, so complete each sentence with would have, could have, or might have, and more than one answer might be correct. Okay, I'm sure that if John had received my message, he would have called me. I think that if they had trained harder, they might have won the game. They had a chance. Some scientists say that if a large asteroid had not hit the Earth, the dinosaurs might not have become extinct. I'm not sure, but I think that if I hadn't eaten that chicken, I might not have gotten sick. Now, complete each third conditional sentence with the verbs in the correct form. You can pause the video, try these on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. If you had looked where you were going, you wouldn't have fallen. Be more careful. I didn't know that you needed help. If you had asked, I could have or would have helped you. She doesn't like you. If you had been more polite to her, maybe you could have been friends. It is getting late and I'm starting to worry. If we had taken a nap, we wouldn't have gotten lost. So one of these is not a third conditional sentence. So see if you can determine which one. If we'd had time, we could have stopped at that restaurant and eaten dinner. We might have caught the bus if we hadn't wasted so much time at home. We'd have to leave immediately if it started to rain. And if we hadn't been so tired, we wouldn't have fallen asleep during the movie. So letter C is the one which is not a third conditional. All right, change the statements into conditionals. And you can pause the video, try these on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. We ran out of gas. We forgot to fill up the car. So if we had filled up the car, we wouldn't have run out of gas. Drake left his garbage pail open. An animal got into the garbage. So if he had closed the garbage pail, an animal wouldn't have gotten in. Lee dropped his glasses, they broke. So if Lee hadn't dropped his glasses, they wouldn't have been broken. Maya arrived late for work every day for 3 weeks. She lost her job. If he hadn't been late every day, actually, that should be she. I think Maya's a she. She wouldn't have lost her job. George didn't wear his helmet. He fell off his bike and hurt his head. So if he had worn his helmet, he wouldn't have hurt his head. Naomi fell asleep. She missed the end of the movie. If Naomi hadn't fallen asleep, she wouldn't have missed the end of the movie. It rained, so Hannah canceled the picnic. If it hadn't rained, Hannah wouldn't canceled the picnic. The boys played soccer. Jimmy kicked the ball high and it broke his neighbor's window. So if Jimmy hadn't kicked the ball, it wouldn't have broken the window. So now see if you can write a third conditional for each picture, and you can add these in the comments. And here are a few more. For additional practice, you can add your third conditional sentences in the comments. Now, can you think of a day when something went wrong? What happened? Talk about it and use the past tense. Did you get lost? Did you fail a test? Did you forget to do something? Did you lose something important? Or did you miss a bus, a train, or a plane? And if any of these things happened to you, you couldn't find your wallet, you forgot an important day, a birthday, or a holiday, you were late for something, or you broke something. It's 11 p.m. Many bad things happened today, but you can't change anything now. Create a third conditional sentence about your day. You didn't set your alarm, so you woke up late. You woke up late, so you had 15 minutes to get ready. You ran into the bathroom and fell on the floor. So you might say something like, if I had set my alarm, I wouldn't have woken up late. Oops. But if I had, if I hadn't woken up late, I would have had more time to get ready. And if I hadn't run into the bathroom, I wouldn't have fallen. And it got worse. You missed the bus and arrived late to work. You had to give a presentation, but you weren't prepared. Then it was time for lunch. You went to the cafe, relaxed, and had a plate of pasta, but you brought the wrong purse and you couldn't pay the bill. Finally, you arrived home. The cat was meowing. It was so hungry because you didn't feed it before you went to work. So you can continue writing some third conditionals about this day. So your friend tells you about something that happened. What can you say to them? Make a third conditional sentence. I was tired all day. I played video games until 3 a.m. last night. If you hadn't stayed up so late playing video games, you wouldn't have been so tired all day. I didn't put my money in the parking meter and I got a ticket. So if you had put money in the parking meter, you wouldn't have gotten a ticket. I was mean to my friend. She got mad at me. If you hadn't been mean to your friend, she wouldn't have gotten mad at you. My boss caught me on social media at work. He was really angry. If you hadn't been on social media at work, your boss wouldn't have gotten angry. I spent all my money on clothes. I couldn't afford tickets to the concert. If you hadn't spent all your money on clothes, you would have been able to afford the tickets to the concert. I bought shoes online and they didn't fit, so I had to return them. If you hadn't bought shoes online, you wouldn't have had to return them. I ate all the spicy soup and then my stomach really hurt. I didn't tie my shoelaces and I fell down the stairs. So again, these are just more ways to practice. And then just some review. Put in the comments, when do you use the third conditional and what is the structure? And that brings us to the end of today's video. Please like, subscribe, share, leave comments, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.